We want to start off with a reminder that we are not doctors. Before you make any changes or try something new, always consult with your doctor and medical team first. Chronic illness can vary from patient to patient, so it's always best to consult with your own doctor for what is best for you.
Hello and welcome to IBD Determined. I'm your host, Mason Harvey, and I speak from the role of a patient, and I have Crohn's disease.
And I'm your other host, Michelle Harvey. I'm Mason's mom, and I speak in the role of a caregiver. And welcome back again after 2 weeks. We had a 2-week break. And this week's episode wasn't planned, but it came about because of something pretty cool that we discovered. And I think it could help all of you. Definitely. So we might as well tell everyone here. We haven't told anybody else, but we are planning
a road trip.
And it's something that we have not been able to do since 2019 because COVID happened and then Mason was diagnosed and it's been difficult to plan. So we were able to work it out between treatments and hopefully, fingers crossed, this is a plan. Things could change. No one wants to be disappointed if it doesn't happen.
It might not happen, but we're just saying there's a chance. So that would be really cool.
Yeah, we're really hoping it will work out. And so part of our motivation, though, would be to go to national parks.
The national parks are one of the biggest parts about going on trips for us.
We always see at least one or two, many more.
I think this trip we have planned 10.
Our challenge is to see 10 national parks in less than 2 weeks. So that we'll see. We'll see if we can do that.
10 parks in 14 days.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool if it happened. And
we might be going to Tillamook.
Yes, that is one of your goals. So the idea here is to give Mason a trip that places he want to revisit, places he want to go back, and places that he could really enjoy now because his health is doing a lot better currently. But as everyone else who listens to this, if you have a disease or if you have Crohn's disease or you caregive for somebody, your parent, somebody who does, things can change. So that's one of the hesitancies here is just that everything's going well and we don't want to rock that boat. Yeah. And so we're going to make sure, like any of you, do talk with your doctors first and make sure
talking to your doctor is very important.
Yeah, make sure everything is arranged and you have plans. So we would like to go to Tillamook again. There's a few other places.
Actually, it would be so cool to go to Tillamook again. Obviously, going to national parks in 2019 was very cool, and I loved cheese in 2019. I still do. I loved cheese when I was a kid.
Always have, always.
But at Tillamook, there's not just cheese. They have grilled cheese. They make like their own special.
Yeah.
They make all kinds of things. Yeah, macaroni cheese.
Their ice cream is there.
So you could really have lunch there.
Yeah. And so that's the plan.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, because in 2019, when we went, I was trying to
gluten-free
because we didn't know I had Crohn's yet. And so we're like, well, maybe we'll try cutting out gluten. So I couldn't have a lot of things there. So now that we're going there again, knowing I don't really have any limits.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So, and that's part we want Mason to be able to just have some fun and enjoy stuff. And a part of that is food and national park.
Yeah.
And so this is we're not going to be talking about, we'll do another episode. This is going to be about disability access passes. And I was very surprised to find out the National Park System has one.
It's actually very cool. Very cool.
Very cool that they offer this. And we're not going to talk about amusement parks right now. We'll come back to that. And specifically, still Disneyland is facing a lot of criticism right now because there are a lot of people who are permanently disabled, have actual disabilities that are not being given their disability access pass because they've changed it. So it was kind of neat to find somewhere that did honor this
national park.
Yeah. And so I think in light of everything that's been like so down that we've been hearing about Disneyland, and such a bummer because it's one of our favorite places to go to.
Sad that
this was like that light.
Like where you're like feel excited. You're like, oh wow, there's actually still something there.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not like where you can be like, oh, let's drive down to Disneyland today. No, it's not like, oh, we're gonna go drive down to Yellowstone.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen. But obviously, it's still very cool that you even have the chance.
Because we're like kind of like what are we some other options for people? So some of you all live near a national park and you might be able to do a day trip, a weekend trip, something like that. And so we thought this would be helpful because why not support places that support people with disabilities like Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, And so we're going to start with some facts about national parks
National
to
park
get you into
trivia.
this.
Yes.
So
if you want, don't cheat. Don't hear the answer. Obviously, you have
we'll
to
give you just a second to think on it, and then we'll
then
tell you.
put it in the comments or
let us know how you
Yeah.
did. Let us know how many you knew or how many national parks you've been to. Please share with us or your favorite anything about national parks because we are fans, and it's actually a very good place for a lot of you who have suppressed immune systems. It's all outdoors.
Outdoors, yeah. Outdoors. Yeah. So, and everything there is preserved. Nice. So actually, yeah, that. Anyways, back to trivia.
So
I can go on for about Yellowstone forever. So.
Yeah, I know. So how many employees are in the National Park Service? This includes, I'll let you give the answer once okay, so this includes permanent, temporary, and seasonal employees.
Okay.
So I'll let you, how many?
So there are approximately 20,000 employees, which I would expect a little bit more.
Well, you know why? Because the next question, how many
volunteers? Okay, because you have employees and then volunteers.
And this was as of 2019. This was the where we got this information from. So.
Okay, now this makes sense. More than 279,000 in 2019.
Volunteers.
I assume that maybe has gone up or maybe down because of COVID.
It's hard to say.
Obviously, that's a lot.
But I thought that was interesting because they employ 20,000 and then have that many volunteers.
Some more volunteers. And
volunteers make the world go round, you guys. They are so important. And
very important.
So, yeah, we love our rangers and also our volunteers. Yeah. And so Mason already knew this, the answer to this. We'll start with not what the first national park was because you already know that, but we'll do that one too. But how old is the national park system? So, Yellowstone National Park was established by an act signed by President Ulysses S.
I got that wrong.
On March 1st, 1872. Okay. But you knew the nation's first national park was Yellowstone. Yes. Okay, so yeah. And then the National Park Service was created by President
Woodrow Wilson
on August 25th,
yes. Okay, that makes sense. So that's interesting. The first national park came out came out a long time before the National Park Service was created, which is interesting because how do you have a national park without a National Park Service? I guess it's just like protected. They don't really have people working there. So, okay, that does make sense. That's interesting. I thought the National Park Service might have came out before to start protecting it.
Yeah. And most of us, because we are looking this up right now.
Yes, we're looking up right now.
And so, because most of us have heard that
Roosevelt has something to do with national parks.
Yes. And Theodore Roosevelt was someone that, that we've always heard of. And so you hear these other names like Ulysses S. Grant, Woodrow Wilson, and it's like, how did Roosevelt play into this? Because he's a big name in it. And so, because he was called the conservation president.
Yeah, I remember that, I think.
And so he doubled the number of sites within the national park system. So from when he was president from 1901 to 1909, he signed legislation establishing 5 national parks, which were Crater Lake in Oregon, Wind Cave,
South Dakota. That sounds fun to actually go to.
Yeah.
Sully's Hill. Is that house?
Yeah.
Okay, Sully's Hill, North Dakota. Later redesignated.
Mesa Verde,
Colorado.
We've been to.
Oh yeah, we have been that. And Platt, Oklahoma.
Yeah. So those. So anyway, so yeah, he was involved, and he was someone who's very active in it. So we have our presidents to thank for caring about the nation and caring to preserve it. So
I do remember that President Roosevelt was involved, but I was like, well, I don't really remember how.
Yeah. But I mean, and there's lots of different ways actually. The Army Corps of Engineers, and so they eventually became involved. But yeah, it's a whole thing. So it's
I have like a national park fact book. I don't really remember where it went.
I know. We even have a national park game, I think. Didn't we get a game? Oh my gosh, I'm
Sounds familiar, but I don't remember what it was
we
called.
obviously play it all the time if we have it.
Obviously, we play it every
Oh
day.
my gosh. So anyways, okay, let's keep going before we lose our listeners here. So a lot of you have seen the national park like symbol, its logo, which is that arrowhead, right? Mm-hmm. So what is the origin of the National Park Service arrowhead?
I don't really know this, so this will be interesting.
Yeah, the arrowhead was authorized as the official National Park Service emblem by Secretary of the Interior on July 20th, 1951. And the components of the arrowhead may have been inspired by key attributes of the national park system because it has a sequoia tree and a bison, which represent vegetation and wildlife.
Yeah, because the bison is a big part of Yellowstone, which was the first national park.
Yeah, which would make a lot of sense. And the mountains and water represent scenic and recreational values, and with the arrowhead itself represent historical and archaeological values.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so there's a lot of meaning in that.
Yeah, so you can find this on the national park, their actual site.
Actual site, not just made up on some.
Yeah, you can find all this. I thought it was kind of neat. Mm-hmm. So, what is the largest national park?
So apparently, the largest national park in the world is Wrangell St. Elias National Park and Preserve, which is in Alaska. Mm-hmm. And it is contained in 13.2 million acres.
Yeah.
Which that is.
And clearly we haven't been there because we don't know how to even pronounce it. No. We apologize.
Obviously, we have not been to Alaska.
We said we love national parks and we didn't even know how to pronounce this because the next one's even worse. The smallest national park is 0.02 acres. That's in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And
you go from 13.2 million to 0.2 acres.
Yeah. Wow. To 0.02.
0.02, yeah.
That's even smaller.
Yeah.
Thaddeus Kosciuszko National Memorial. I really probably should look this up.
I have to look it up because I want to see what that is.
Yeah, I just want to know how to pronounce it. But anyways, it's the largest and smallest. How many people visit the national parks? So the last recorded was in 2022 that they have, and
311,985,998. Okay.
That's how many people visit the national parks. That was in 2022.
And that's for all national parks.
And that was after COVID.
Oh wow. Yeah, so after COVID. What was it before, actually?
I should have looked it up, but I didn't want to I didn't want to have too many facts.
Yeah, in 2019 it was this, in 2018 it was this, in 2020 it was this, in 2023 was this.
Now I'm asking all these questions.
Now we're confused.
Okay. And then we're going to just do really quick the top 10 most visited national parks. Let's see, because these are the top 10. I'm guessing somebody listening has been to at least one of these. So coming in at number 10 is Olympic National Park with 2.9 million visitors in 2023.
I think we've been there.
We have been there. So there's one of the top 10 for us. Coming in at number 9, Joshua Tree National Park. 3.2 million. We've also been there.
We've been to 2 of these so far.
Yeah. And number 8 is Grand Teton National Park.
3.4 million.
Yeah. We've been there.
Yeah, been there too.
Yep. Number 7 is Acadia National Park in Maine.
This is 3.8 million.
Yeah.
We have not been there because that's in Maine.
We have not. Number 6, Yosemite National Park at almost
4 million.
Yeah.
And we've
been there.
We have been there. Okay.
Several times. Like 2 or 3 times. Well,
we should go there again, but we already have it planned out. So
we can go. It's closer to us.
Okay.
And that's funny because I think we don't go there as much because we make these big trips. And so we hit all the ones that are like further away.
It.
Yeah. We go like all the way around it. But yeah, we've been there a few times and it's great. Yeah, one of our favorites. And number 5 is the Rocky Mountain National Park.
Yeah, 4.1 million.
Yeah, 4.1. So. We've been, all over the Rocky Mountains and traveling. And so we've been
very pretty when you're driving too.
Incredible. And it's a huge range. So it's not just like it's in one spot. It goes through so many states.
America.
And so
not across, but up and down.
Yeah. You gotta watch how we say that. Yeah. People are like, what?
What?
Yeah. And coming in number 4 is Yellowstone National Park.
That's actually surprising.
I would have thought that was like almost number 1. Yeah. Right? But that's a 4.5 million. Because when we go there, it sure feels busy.
Yes.
Like it seems like there's just always people there.
Especially like during winter. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think many people will be there during winter, but no, we usually go during fall. I've been during the summer
and it was much more busy. Fall is still kind of busy, but not as bad. But we've been there in the snow.
Yeah. Oh, it was so pretty during the snow.
Yeah, we've been
very
there.
Pretty.
We went hiking out in it still. We enjoyed it. And because we were not going to waste a trip.
Okay. On to the third.
And coming to number 3, Zion National Park and almost 5 million visitors.
Zion, wow.
Yeah.
We've been there once.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times. You've been there once.
I've only been there once.
Yes, but we have been there, and it is very busy. It's for the size of the park and the road going into it and the available areas to park and hike. It is very busy, but very beautiful.
It would be nice if they had the size.
Yeah. Well,
that would be too much.
Yeah. Okay. And coming at number 2, Grand Canyon National Park at 4.7, over 4.7, because it's close to Zion. So it was like, or maybe it was 5.7. So
maybe it was 5.7.
Yeah.
Maybe something got missed.
Yeah, but it was
like,
close to Zion. I know that it was very close, which actually makes sense why these numbers would be close, because why Zion would be number 3 and Grand Canyon would be number 2, because they are so close to each other. So I think a lot of people, they visit both of these.
Yeah, both.
That's my guess.
No, we go from potentially 5.7 million to this next one, which is the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, which is 13 million.
And that's the number 1 most visited national park. We've never been there.
Okay, we've never been there. Okay.
That's on the other side of the United States.
Okay, that makes more sense. I'm like, how have we not been there if it's the first? Okay, well, that's on the other side of the United States.
So I'm like, these. So I mean, we've been to a good amount of these, and it makes sense because they're the top 10. But there's a few in here that, I'd love to visit. I, wish we could get to the East Coast and visit some of these places. So
Olympic
was up in Washington.
Yes. That one should almost be more popular, but
I think its location.
It's underrated.
It's an amazing national park.
It's beautiful. It's like something out of a fairy tale. Like that.
If we get a chance to go back, we definitely would like to and visit that one again.
The only problem I see with that is the parking lot, because there's some yellow jackets.
There's a lot of these. So they have like the yellow jackets like in a lot of these places.
And at Yellowstone you have, well, at
least on our coast or on the west side. I don't know about the east side over there.
But in Yellowstone, there is a potential danger of a raven just taking your entire loaf of bread, because we saw that once.
They're huge.
We were walking to the visitor center through the parking lot. There's a giant raven on top of someone's car eating an entire loaf of bread out of a bag, and I don't know how that happened. But
the only thing I can say is that was better than a bear.
Definitely.
Yes. That's it. But that was one positive. But you got to really watch the food in your vehicles. So
anywhere.
So with that, let's get to the details, guys. What we're here to talk about today. So we just want to kind of go through that. But if you're skipping ahead and you just want to hear us talk about this, we're ready to talk about the national park passes. And this is so cool, guys, what they do. So we're gonna give you all the details here so you guys know everything, know what to do. And we'll put a link also. So if you guys want to get your own, you can do that. Yes. And remember, just because they are giving you something for free, which is super helpful, they could still use our support financially if people are able to donate or give. Yes. Purchase items from the gift shops while you're there, which we always do anyway.
Support these places.
Yeah. So, it's important to remember that they still need our support. And we are so thankful, though, that they are providing something for those who are disabled.
Which gives us more of a reason to support them.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty cool. So it's called the Interagency Access Pass, and it is available for free for U.S. citizens or permanent residents with permanent disabilities. Okay. And and it is a free lifetime pass. So Mason is getting one
for
his life,
which that's very, very cool.
Yeah. So I feel like, you guys go through so much with this disease that at least there's something like this where they care enough to do something kind like that, and to really, because it's difficult, because you guys may have a trip planned and may end up flaring, you can't go, or things can change, or you don't enjoy the park like others do because you spend a lot of it in a bathroom or sitting down because you can't hike because you're exhausted, and
it can cost quite a bit if you're driving through multiple times, because I remember when we stayed in Yellowstone, we went through to Yellowstone quite a bit.
Right. You can get a pass there too if you are going more than once. But we went like 5 times into Yellowstone in a week.
Worth it though.
Yeah. So, but just important to know, guys, that it is a free lifetime pass.
So that is very, very cool.
Yeah. And some of you might be thinking, do you have to be like, have 100% of it? Like, what kind of disabilities count? And because Crohn's does count, guys. So that's pretty cool to know. But you don't have to have, it doesn't have to be like a 100% disabled. No. And so
permanent.
Yes.
Like lifetime. Like it can't be cured.
Right.
There is no cure, which
it provides admittance to more than 2,000 recreation sites managed by 6 federal agencies. Also cool, there's no age requirement. So Mason got the pass and we're able to use it with him. We'll go into that more
car with
down
the person
below.
with the pass is able to go in for free.
Yeah, and we'll go into that as we scroll through here because it's a pretty cool feature. It is for U.S. citizens or permanent residents of any age that have been medically determined to have a permanent disability that severely limits one or more major life activities. And you just have to provide, a valid photo ID. You have to have a valid photo ID, like a passport, driver's license, or a state issued ID. For Mason, we were able to use his birth certificate for this. And you're going to need, like you just said, a statement
from your doctor. And
stuff. Right. It's got to be a licensed physician. Okay,
you can't just go to the national park and be like, hey, I have a permanent
disability and I need
permanent disability. Yeah. No, you have to get doctor's note. You have to have proof and
right.
So no abusing the system.
Right. And
hopefully if you do find a way, you don't do that.
This is the kind of thing like it'd be nice. I mean, I have my own opinions on what Disney's doing right now too, but it would be nice if they took into account, providing documentation is such an easy way to prove things. And with this, I was able to ask your gastroenterologist for a letter and they got us one right away. And with all the requirements too, because there's certain things that are required in the letter. So I shared that with the doctor and they did that. No problem. And I mean, it was less than a day to get this all together.
Very fast.
Yeah. Not even that difficult at all. And so you can use also a document issued by a federal agency, such as the Veterans Administration, Social Security Disability Income, or Supplemental Security Income also as proof. The Access Pass, like Mason was saying, it admits the pass owner and passengers in a non-commercial vehicle at a per vehicle fee area. So in the vehicle, you can have the pass owner, which would be like Mason, plus 3 adults. And it's not to exceed 4 adults, guys, but everyone in that vehicle will not be charged. And
very cool.
Yeah, and children under 16 are always admitted free. You might need photo ID to verify the pass ownership. And it covers, here's the places where you can use it. The Forest Service, the National Park Service, Fish and Wildlife Service, Bureau of Land Management, the U.S. Corps of Engineers, and the Bureau of Reclamation. All of these places honor the Access Pass at their sites. And there's a link you can check to just make sure that yours qualifies.
So now if I want to go to the Fish and Wildlife Service, I can now.
Yeah, well, so like,
actually,
for instance,
I'm interested in that.
One of the places we went to was a BLM. So it was a Bureau of Land Management. It was one of the Oregon Trail sites. And so it wasn't a national park, it wasn't a state park, but it was a BLM. And so we would have been able to use it there, which is cool. So the way we did this is you can do it the same way we did, guys. Super easy. Go online. We'll post the link, like I said,
in the description.
And you will pay a $10 fee for them to process, which is very fair. They process
Just
it all.
$10 for potentially free.
Yeah. And you upload your identification that indicates you're a citizen or permanent resident, and then your proof of disability, which in our case was the documentation from his doctor. So we did that. And it was very simple to do. And we already got within like a couple days of doing this, it said it's on its way. It's being mailed.
That was very cool.
So it's exciting because I think it's like, and it could have changed, but it was like $30 or $35 a vehicle to get into Yellowstone. And so when you look at the savings,
when we like what we said, we're gonna do 10 parks in 2 weeks. That's quite a bit of money being saved, which
it helps.
That's so cool.
It all helps. And we will definitely make sure the parks do get some of our support financially.
Buying from the little shops.
So they will definitely still get it. But
definitely really nice stuff.
But it's nice because it's like we have so many fees in life associated with this disease. And
it's cool to see such a big organization address something like that.
Yeah, and care. And you're like, oh, thank you. Because I mean, we even have to pay a fee to park at our hospital. Like,
Yeah.
let's even get into
Oh,
that. Like every time we park there, which it's like we have to pay a fee, and it's like terrible parking, number
next
one.
thing you
Like,
know, you're gonna have to pay money to walk into the hospital.
yeah, well, yeah, pretty much. They
Yeah.
put those food, they charge us enough. So I understand, there's, fees for everything. I get it. Just, kind of being sarcastic about that. But that's why it's nice when there are things like this
Yeah, to help
where
people like
it's like, this is sweet. This is
yeah.
a really cool deal. So it's easy to get. If you guys have Crohn's disease, if you have ulcerative colitis, talk to your doctor and let them know what needs to be written in the letter. Get the letter, submit it, and you can get your lifetime access pass
To any
to
national park
national
and
park. Yeah.
other things in the organization.
Yeah, and as a caregiver, it's pretty cool because you can know you can get it for your kids or patient, depending who you're taking care of. And if you accompany them, you'll get in with them too. So it's a great what I like is it's a great way to support the parks and to get out there. And for you, it's good for your mental health to do all this
To do
stuff.
things like this and get
Yeah.
these
And then
treatable things.
I don't feel so bad if we had to miss some time in the park because you weren't feeling well or something happened.
It's
We
like,
didn't.
we
Yeah.
spent $34 and just for
Yeah.
15 minutes.
And so sometimes things are different for us. We don't get to enjoy it the same. So
Yeah.
it's just really cool that they do
It
that.
just goes to show that national parks not only care about wildlife conservation, but they also really care about their visitors.
They do. And I think that's a neat, neat thing. So makes me love them even more and more excited to go visit. So that's what we want to talk about today, guys. So I think it was something that a lot of you might be able to use and
You're planning a road trip.
or like planning a weekend getaway. And it's a pretty cool thing to have. So we'll put all the links in there for you guys so you can do it too and you can get your pass. And just be sure to support your national park services. They're very important for our nation, extremely important for wildlife and for conserving land. And I would think a lot of people have been to them, but if you never have,
you really should.
There's just nothing
There's
like
beautiful,
it.
beautiful
Yeah,
things.
it's amazing. And so this trip, we want to visit some that we've never put on the list. Some are not really big national parks, but
they're just different and new.
Yeah, we're
Something to
excited.
see.
So hopefully we'll have, some fun stories to share when and if
Yes.
that happens.
If that happens. If that happens,
Yeah.
yes.
So if we do, we'll be sure to post pictures on our Instagram, which hopefully you're following at Team IB Determined. And you can also follow us on the Reggie Project because Reggie's going to go along with us.
Yeah.
And we're going to take
Reggie's gonna get
pictures.
some huckleberry and stuff.
We're going to have him go, and on the Reggie Project, we'll post pictures of that as well when that happens. It's going to be a while, guys. Yes. So, but you can start following now. You might as well. So
see where Reggie goes.
Yeah. And you can also see we had a recipe that won an award last week. We won first place.
Won first place.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
So we can officially say we won a cooking contest.
Yeah. So if you want to check it out, it's on the recipe and the videos on Team IB Determined on Instagram. And if you guys are watching us, but you want to listen to us,
like on a drive or
on a road trip,
on a road trip,
you can listen on places like Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify. And the link will show you the best part link will show you all the different places where you can listen. Yeah, there's many more.
And speaking of podcast stations, YouTube now has YouTube podcasts. But if you are listening and you want to watch us as well as hear us, you can go to the normal YouTube videos. And if you are watching us on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to be notified every time we post a new video, make sure to hit that blue bell icon.
Yep. And that's IB Determined on YouTube. We had a few, the subscriber list is slowly growing and it's so exciting. So if you're watching because you saw this new episode come out, let us know again which national parks you've been to. If you haven't been, where you want to go. And if you do have this pass and you knew about it, tell us too, because I didn't know. And I was like, I have to share this because I didn't realize this. And we're very active in the national park system. How many others didn't? So
I hope if you had your answers for the trivia, be sure to put them in the comments.
Yeah, let us know if you're like, oh, I knew all that. Or you guys got it wrong.
Or you already heard the answers by now, so you came back, I heard everything. I know everything.
We'll share the links with you guys. And then don't forget, we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll be back in 2 weeks with our next episode. And we will see you guys then. So until then, have a great
rest of your week.
Yeah,
weekday. 2 weeks.
Yes.
Trip. daily.
Yeah. And for us right now, we're filming. It's still summertime. You'll be going back to school soon. But it's very hot in here today. So I'll be done to be it's warm. We have AC, but we try so hard to save and not use that.
Yes.
But it's getting warm. So I think if you see us, we're starting to glisten. We're kind of shiny. Yeah. It's getting warmer. There's something in here. So go turn on the AC and get something cool to drink. So we'll get some water. Sounds good.
Yes. So have a chilly rest of your day.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys in a few weeks on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
We hope you will stick around, tune in, and reach out to us with your own journeys. We are excited to give you an inside view of what it takes to be a caregiver and what it's like to be a patient.
And most of all, we hope you'll maybe be able to play something you hear on here that might help you in your own life. Sometimes life changes, and it's all about how you handle the journey.